This episode is brought to you by Lumina Growth Lab. At Lumina, we help professional learning and development companies who are struggling with predictable lead flow, a sniper approach to attracting the ideal clients, and a system that qualifies leads so they can have a smoother sales process, finally have scalability, and ultimately take their business to the next level. Most of the time, our clients come to us frustrated because nothing seems to work outside of word of mouth and referral based lead generation. But with the right strategy and support, they're able to confidently add new channels of lead generation, leading to a packed pipeline that creates sustainable revenue and year over year growth for cheaper than ever before because of the use of AI technologies. If that sounds like you or someone you know, connect with me on LinkedIn and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about unlocking your business's potential. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Marketing Matrix, guys. I'm your host, Lisanne Murphy, and today I am joined by my new friend, Caroline Pennington. Caroline, thank you so much for coming onto the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Guys, I am really, really excited for this conversation today. I had the opportunity to meet Caroline recently. She's also a podcast host, and so I'm really excited. We have an opportunity. We decided to what did you call it? Swap podcast hosting,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we're gonna get to have a multiple conversations in the next couple of weeks, and so I'm really excited about that. But let me take a moment to introduce Caroline because she has a really amazing story, and I'm really excited for her to dive into that and what she's working on in the world today. So Caroline is a former executive recruiter turned online marketing expert, helping female entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale their personal brand and business organically online. After 15 years of working in corporate, she knew that she no longer was serving her purpose, and there was a tiny little voice in her saying, "You were made for more." So she couldn't ignore it any longer. So in 2021, she launched Chill Vino and had her patented wine drinkware product, and in 2023 launched her podcast called The Feminine Founder. She created the Feminine Founder marketing to provide done-for-you services for female entrepreneurs when it comes to marketing, personal brand, and business online. They take care of everything so that you can get back to running your business. I'm really excited for this because Caroline is someone who she took what she experimented with herself, and then she took what was working into the businesses of others, which I love that story so much. Like, my guess is your intention probably wasn't necessarily to run a branding and organic social media agency. Is that correct?
No, it was not at all. It's been a windy path.
Yeah, I love that. It's been a winding path. I think sometimes in life we hope and expect life to be, just smooth sailing straight, but life is windy, right? Whiny and windy, as I like to say. So, Caroline, for people that don't know you, give us a little bit of background in terms of what was the corporate work that you were doing? Why did you start posting so much? Did you study anything that led to the success, or was it purely just trial and error? I'm super curious to dive a little bit more into that journey.
All right, my story is I used to be a headhunter, an executive recruiter on the agency side. So what that meant was when companies want to hire somebody, fire somebody on the low, just stuff was going down, you go hire a recruiter, headhunter to go find that person for you. And when I first started, I was recruiting entry-level professionals, receptionists, file clerks, all the things. Fast forward 15 years later, and I'm recruiting at the absolute highest level, the C-suite space, CEOs, CFOs, COOs, all over the countries, all different sizes of companies, privately held, publicly traded, owned by private equity companies, literally the absolute highest level. These are the high 6, 7, 8-figure income earners, okay? So where am I finding those people? I'm finding them on LinkedIn. So I decided 2 years ago to start my personal branding journey because I was like, okay, these people with this super high net worth are hanging out on LinkedIn. I need to go get some visibility for myself there. And I never honestly thought I was even starting my own personal brand to start my business. I just did it because I wanted to be the go-to executive recruiter, headhunter, and I want to be known for that. So I started 2 years ago. I went from 0 to 7,000 followers in under 2 years organically, 0 spent on ad spend. Now 10K to close to 13K now, again, completely organic. When I started, my content was completely based around recruiting, hiring do's and don'ts, organizational leadership styles, like that, all that kind of stuff that I would see in my day-to-day recruiting efforts. And I had so many cringe moments, so many. So if you're listening to this, and you're like, ooh, LinkedIn seems scary. I don't know what to say. It's so professional. It's not professional. I literally did a poll yesterday about, are you dressing up for Halloween? Yes or no? It was my highest ranking poll yet year to date. So At the end of the day, LinkedIn is just an SEO site and it's just a social networking platform. And it's a place you can get a lot of visibility really quickly.
I love that. I love that. So, okay. So one of the things that I think is really cool that sometimes we forget with like online marketing is like what is marketing specifically? Like what I love is like go back to the original term of like the market, right? Like in villages, the center of town is where the market was, and it's where all the people went, right? So if you wanted your business to be visible, you go to where the people are. Like you didn't set up your stand like on like a side street. You set up your stand in the middle of town in the market, right? That is what marketing is. And so I love how like you just broke it down that like LinkedIn is a marketplace. It's a place where people in a certain market come to go, and it's a place where business people are. And so if you are wanting to get in front of businesses and people that are in business and running business and thinking about business, yes, they have personal lives as well, like Halloween, right? But you go to the marketplace where they are, and that's LinkedIn. So I love that.
So LinkedIn is no longer a place where you go to get a job. It's a full-blown professional networking and social networking site. And guess what? Your potential clients are on there. The people that can give you promotions and offers or advertising stuff is on there. Like literally everybody is on there. They just crossed the $1 billion user mark last year and it's ticked up to 1.4 now. And I'm a fan of Meta too. I've scaled on Instagram as well organically. So I'm not hating on those other sites too. It's just you can go really farther really fast. And a lot of times my clients get really in the weeds on LinkedIn about the business page. And for those of you listening to this podcast, nobody likes a business page. Like no one likes to interact with the business page. So build your personal brand as the authority person first, and then just repurpose the content on the business page.
That's really, really good advice. And it was similar when Facebook was starting to be used as a kind of a business marketplace as well. That was kind of the same advice. Like people interact with people, not with a business, right? And so that's really, really good advice. So I'm really curious, how do you define a personal brand? Because there's like a lot, that's kind of like a trendy word right now. Like the importance of a personal brand. You know, I mean, Gary Vee's talking about it. I have a couple of people in my network that they're kind of like putting their flag in the sand of like that's what they're doing, helping people with in their business. How do you define a personal brand?
Yeah, I know it's a buzzword right now, and it's like, okay, well, what is a personal brand and who needs a personal brand? And guess what? It's not just for famous people or people who've written books or speak on stages or whatever. It's for every single person. So it's 2025. Guess what? Everybody's online. I don't care what platform you're on, Meta, TikTok, LinkedIn. Everyone needs a personal brand. It's who you are as a person, as a professional. It's your online resume. Guess what? You meet somebody, a potential client, potential customer, potential employer. What are they doing? They're Googling you, okay? So if they're Googling you and they can't find you, that is scary. We're in spooky season right now. And if you can Google that person and find their personal brand on LinkedIn, on Meta, or whatever platform you choose, it supercharges the know, like, trust factor. So you want to be the go-to person for whatever it is your niche is. And you may be thinking like, I don't really know if like what I have to say is cool enough to really create a personal brand. And it is. Like people will gravitate towards you based on your personality. You're not going to be the cup of tea for every single person, and that's okay too, because they were never going to buy from you in the beginning anyways.
I love that. Okay, so where's the balance between like because it's a personal brand, like it's not just business things. Like what's the balance that you found is a good balance between like sharing like who you are and your personality, your hobbies, interests. Like how do you conceptualize the personal brand in terms of who you are as a whole human?
What's worked for me is 70-30. So 70% of what I talk about online is business related, why I'm the go-to expert in the marketing field and the organic when scaling on LinkedIn or Meta, Instagram. The 30% is me personally. People want to get to know me as a person. Like, what's it going to be like to work with me? Like, where do I live? And I'm married or not? Do I have kids? Do I have I talk about my dogs all the time. They're my podcast managers. And people freaking love that. Like, I'll be out at the supermarket. They'll be like, how are your podcast managers? And it's just because, like, I think it's just a relatable thing. Like, a lot of people have dogs. I do too. I just kind of make it funny and like humorous that they manage me because they literally sleep behind me all day, every day. And I just do Instagram stories about it. And it's completely up to you. Like, you choose what you share. So you could get like really personal with things, or you could tread lightly. It just depends on the seasons of life that you're in. But you do have to share that personal side. And it could be as superficial as like, hey, I live in South Carolina with my husband, Gary, and my 2 dogs. Or I share on LinkedIn. So it used to be once a quarter. Now I do it once a month. I do a reintroduction because the amount of influx of people who've come in my network has been significantly increasing. people don't remember what you say a month ago anyways, so that frequency is fine. So in those re-intro posts, I'll have the 7 business facts and the 3 non-business related. I did a post recently where I shared that I prefer to drink hot tea over coffee. I had over 87 comments within an hour.
Just on the coffee and tea comment?
Just on the coffee and tea. People could not wrap their head around that I liked tea over coffee. Some was like banter, some was like surprise. It just was the whole thing. But I mean, simple, right?
Yeah, I love it. So what, from your experience, what are the things that get people to engage?
Ooh, great question. So here are the 3 pillars. I do have pillars for LinkedIn. Number 1, if you're going to start to be active on there, you need to optimize your profile. Number 2, you need to start putting content out there regularly. I don't care what that looks like. If you can do once a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, you do not need to do any more than 5 days a week. Then you need to start engaging with people. I always talk about this in my podcast, when I speak on stages, wherever. If you want to get something back, like get an invite on a podcast or get some comments, get some likes, whatever you're looking for, you need to go give it first. Do you need to be sitting there all day, like engaging people? No, but like 3 to 5 minutes, like you have enough time to do that. And that can crank out 6 to 7 comments, and the power of compounding exists in a very big way on LinkedIn, and the power of reciprocity does as well. Now, no one's obligated to come back and comment on your stuff just because you did, but once you start giving engagement to other people, the likelihood that they're going to come back and give it to you, it gets very high.
Interesting. So you're sharing that more from like a relationship perspective, not necessarily from an algorithm perspective.
Yeah.
Do you have opinions on both in terms of like for example, when I have posted really regularly on Facebook, they say that like, to warm up your feed, right? So to like engage with people in your feed regularly so that when you go and post, it's clear like you are an active user and participant in the Facebook community, right? Is that the same for LinkedIn, or is it really just you're creating like good human relationships and creating reciprocity?
The second half of that. So LinkedIn is what Facebook Meta used to be 20 years ago. So the really cool thing I love about LinkedIn is that you don't have to keep up the algorithm. Like you don't have to have any hooks. You don't have to do any trending audio or dance around or any of that kind of stuff, because there's only 3% of people that post content out there, and there are 1.4 billion users. You've got the likelihood of a ton of visibility really quickly.
Wait,
And
slow down. Say that again. What percentage of people are posting? Like that's a
Let
big
me
one.
rattle off my stats for you, and your listeners are going to be like, snap. And if you're listening to this too, you need to get in the LinkedIn game like right now, because when I started my LinkedIn journey 2 years ago, this stat was at 1%. Now it's at 3%. So 3% of people post content on LinkedIn, and there's 1.4 billion users, which means there's a huge opportunity for visibility without a lot of competition.
Wow.
The
Now,
average
do
user,
you know, I'm just curious, like, do you know that comparison between like Instagram
yeah, it's like in the
percentage of
high
people?
70s over there, isn't it?
Interesting. I don't know. I was just I was asking because I don't know that stat.
Okay, the stat that I heard most recently is Instagram has 3 billion users, and over 77% of people post content on there.
Wow.
What that means is a lot of competition, and also there's a lot of money being spent on ads over there, and you don't have to do any of that on LinkedIn. So now LinkedIn has 1.4 billion users, and only 3% of people post content. So that number is going to keep ticking up and up and up as time goes on. Also on LinkedIn, the average user makes over 100K a year. So what that means is they have the money and the disposable income to spend on your products and services. Again, I used to recruit millionaires on there every single day. Guess what?
Billionaires? Did you say
Millionaires,
millionaires?
bazillionaires, all the things. Yeah, and it's them in the DMs. It's not their staff, which is really cool too. Now, if you get like the really big people like Ed Milet, Amy Porterfield, whatever, like, yeah, you're going to get their staff in the inbox. But like, I would say 98% of people manage their own personal LinkedIn accounts. Most of the time, when people are logging on LinkedIn, they're on their computer. They're not on their telephone, so they're not as distracted. Like, they're not in the carpool line or like letting their dog out or whatever. And people are looking more to learn on LinkedIn rather than be entertained. So it's easy for you to get up there and talk about what it is you know. And if you sit here thinking like, well, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do a trademark or have a patent or whatever. Like, people want to know about those things. So start talking about it. So that's what's worked. And also, if you're listening to this, here's the formula for LinkedIn. Start posting on LinkedIn. If if you can't do 5 days a week, do 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. People start to kind of peter off on Thursday, Friday. They're like not really interested in learning or like whatever anymore. So do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And if you can handle that, then start doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Post at the same time every single day. So for example, for me, I do Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that starts priming my audience. So they start to expect to see me online at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. You get to a point where your audience will start sending you DMs and they don't see you. Or they'll start being like, hey, where'd you go? Like, I haven't seen anything from you, which is a really cool place to be.
That's fascinating. Okay, so tell me this, I'm gonna make a confession to you right now. I do not scroll LinkedIn's newsfeed. Like I never pull up LinkedIn to see what people are posting. I usually 98% of the time I'm just seeing has anyone messaged me because I've reached out to some people or invited people onto the podcast or whatever or like that. I mean it's really like so I'm living more in my DMs than I am in the newsfeed. But I'm like curious like is that like most people use LinkedIn newsfeed and they're scrolling like what how do most people on LinkedIn use LinkedIn? I have the genuine curiosity about that.
They use LinkedIn to scroll, and a lot of times they're all watching. Like I call them LinkedIn lurkers. Okay. So if you're listening to this podcast, don't be a LinkedIn lurker. Start getting active on the platform. And if you're like, ooh, it kind of seems scary, start liking stuff first because LinkedIn is this new thing where you can actually see the impressions of how many people are seeing you liking stuff. Then once you get comfortable liking stuff, start doing the comments. Work in the LinkedIn DMs is brilliant, as it sounds like you're doing right now, which is great. But yeah, people are scrolling and they're watching, but again, they're watching more to like learn from you, not like do cat videos and like stuff like that, like on Instagram. Like I love those cat videos, dog videos on Instagram, so I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah, so and I mean they're like that's what a TikTok and Instagram are for, So would you say like it's a little bit more like YouTube in that sense? Like cuz like YouTube is more of an educational, like people go to learn, not as much to just mindlessly
Yeah, and they're
scroll.
pushing video content pretty hard. So if you are comfortable doing that, I would do it. Keep your video under 30 seconds. Face to camera, like the other platforms, works the best. A lot of times I'll put stuff in CapCut and just like splice out my videos and upload it that way. And that's an easy way to just get some visibility, put some music behind it, all the things. People want to feel like what it's like to work with you. So they want to feel like your energy, like how do you sound? Are you professional? You don't have to be perfect. Like no one's looking for perfection. Perfection's boring, but that's what's been working.
I love that. So I want to just reiterate something you just said. You say people want to feel what it feels like to work with you. Like that's like a really interesting concept. I'm learning so much from this. This is like so good. I feel like I'm getting like a free coaching session here on the podcast. This is great. Okay, so you work with. Tell me about your clientele. Like who do you typically work with? What are the problems that they come to you with? What are they trying to achieve by working with you?
Yeah, I work with small to medium-sized business owners, mostly female, and they are coming to me because they want more visibility for their business, for themselves. They want more clients, they want more leads, more sales, and they come to me on how to do that. And actually started out coaching, and I didn't love coaching that much, so I swapped it over to the Done For You service, which works better for me. But I help my clients achieve. I do exactly what I did for myself for my clients is I help them start, grow, and scale organically online. And I do believe that it is still a thing. Like I know there's the whole ad thing too, but you can really build an online community and build an online presence organically too.
Yeah. Well, and I think especially like I mean coaching in this niche in particular, like people have so much head trash around publishing content, right? And so I'm sure you're just like, "Just give me your freaking computer. Like let me just
Yeah,
do it."
I'm like, you know what? Just pay the retainer fees, and I'll just do it for you. And it's funny because they see everything I have online now, and they're like, oh, I want that, and I'm like, okay, but I really had like a lot of really cringe moments for like a long time before I got to this point. But I can supercharge that process for you, so that's what you pay me for.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I love it. So, however, I still believe that like having direct response channels are also very, very important for going out and hunting people that wouldn't find you otherwise. I'm curious if you What's your perspective? Like, how do you talk about direct response from being on the side of the fence of the power of organic?
I think that's 100% necessary too in this day and age. I mean, you have to, going back to how people experience you and your business, like if they are reaching out because it's a potential lead or a hot prospect, people's expectation is that you're going to get back to them, whether if it's an automation from ManyChat or whatever it is on the back end that you have set up. You want to make sure that your customer has the best experience possible with you. And whether, again, that's you organically sitting there messaging them or you've got an automation set up, but you have to have that in place from a system standpoint so that you don't let things fall through the crack.
I like that. So you're okay, let's go back to the content game for just a moment. So what's your philosophy on value versus call to action posts? Like you gave like your 70-30 between like business and personal. Like what's your ratio with value driven, like pure value driven versus like book a call with me, download this thing, having a specific call to action.
Yeah, I think you always need to have a call to action. And I like the values based marketing because I think you, again, need to give, give, give first before you can expect to take. The worst is literally people that I'll connect with or I'll even be whatever on LinkedIn and they'll slide in my DMs. I don't know who they are. I don't know anything. And they're like trying to get a credit card, me to buy their whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know you. So like buy, block, and delete. So I think you need to give first. And that feels like a lot of work in the beginning, but you can repurpose a lot of stuff on LinkedIn and it's totally fine. So, and I think every single post needs to have a call to action because you need to prompt people to start engaging with you. And whether or not it's spending money with you or doing business with you or just interacting with you, I still think you should ask for it.
So like give me some examples of calls to action that have worked really well for you in the engagement category as well as the more direct business interaction category.
Yeah, I love doing unpopular opinions because of a couple reasons. Number one, I have kind of a sassy personality and I just like it to shine. And the more I've been active on LinkedIn, the more I let it show. So I like that part to come out because if people are going to work with me to hire me, like that's going to be what they're going to get from me. I'm not a yes woman. I'm going to tell it like it is. And so I'm going down the rabbit hole about this unpopular opinion thing because people are afraid to do unpopular opinions because they don't want to hurt people's feelings or step on toes or whatever. And at the end of the day, not everyone's going to agree with you and that's okay. But when you do an unpopular opinion, you drive so much engagement. And I would say probably 95% of it is really good and positive. You might get the 5% of people that totally disagree with you or are totally rude or whatever. And I'm going to give you an example of an unpopular opinion that does really well on LinkedIn and why. But that's worked for me. And so I would encourage anyone listening to this, start doing that. I wouldn't do them all the time. Maybe once every 2 weeks is a good cadence. And a popular opinion I do that on LinkedIn that does really well is I talk about that it's okay to unconnect with people.
That's awesome.
And people go crazy over that one because they're like, oh no, but you never know, this person from my past could pop back up and give me an opportunity, whatever. So just for an example, I mostly work with women. So I literally have gone through in cold and once a month, like I will just go unconnect with like every man I'm connected to. Not my husband, not my dad, but everyone else can go.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And I think it's important to update your network too. Like LinkedIn, you're going to get capped at some point at 30,000 connections. So you want to make sure that 30,000 that you've got in your community that you're actually connected to are quality people. So if you have somebody from, just for example, in my recruiting days, I worked a lot with human resources professionals. That's great. They were great. Now I'm an entrepreneur, a marketing professional. They're not going to give me any business. So like they got to go.
Sorry, go ahead.
They don't get a notification when you unconnect. So it's no big deal.
Can you like break down the difference between like connecting with someone versus following? And is your followers considered your community or are your connections considered your community? And like, do they give priority to who sees your posts depending on what group they fall in? Like, how does that all work?
Ooh, good question. Okay, so 2 years ago, LinkedIn implemented what was called a creator network, and you could opt in to do it or not. Now everyone's a creator on LinkedIn. So what that means is you have connections and then you have followers. The connections, I would really be selective about who you connect with. The offshore, like people trying to sell you everything, no, like don't connect with those people unless that's a service that you want. But if it's not service that you're seeking right now, then maybe not. The followers are people that come in when you have a post go viral or when you have something go that's reshared a lot. So for example, on LinkedIn now, my connections are around 9,000. My followers are around 13,000. So it's a way they're trying to make the site like the other sites that people can follow you without actually committing to connect with you. Your community is your followers because they're the ones who are getting the most visibility of what you're doing and what you've got out there. A good question I get asked a lot is LinkedIn Premium worth it or is the free account? Okay. So the difference of the two is this. If you have LinkedIn free account, you can connect with up to 100 people a week and your LinkedIn DMs are limited. If you have the premium account, you can connect with up to 250 people a week and your DMs are completely not unlimited. I have experimented with both. I'm currently on the free version. I just came off of the premium version. When I was on the premium version, after I hit 10,000 followers, LinkedIn was sending me over 250 people a week to follow me. Since I've gone down to non-premium, that number has reduced to like 12.
Wow. So are you going to go back to premium
So
then?
I'm going to go back. So here's the LinkedIn game. Now they keep selling me on, okay, we'll give you half off on on the number or whatever. So I'm playing that game with them now. But yeah, it was just an experiment that I did.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think that shows your spicy personality and your curiosity as well. It's fantastic. Okay, so what are you wanting to do with your agency? Where are you taking this thing in 2026?
So I'm helping support my client both on Meta and LinkedIn, just doing social media marketing, organic marketing. I love supporting my clients and helping them with their personal brands, grow their business, grow their visibility. I had one client, I did her content and she started crying, which I was like, okay, is this really good or really bad? It was good tears. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to continue expanding the agency, hire additional people to help support me, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so exciting. So, and how is AI influencing your processes in how you work with content?
I use actually mostly AI with my podcast. I use it with editing and I use it with the show notes writing and all of that. Same as you do with Riverside. I mean, the Riverside's come such a long way in the past couple of years. It's just literally insane. The magic mastering clips that they spit out, so freaking good.
Yeah, they're so good.
So that's actually mainly how I'm using AI. I mean, maybe I'm old school. I draft up the content. I use AI a little bit to write it, but I like people's personalities to show and shine more because, again, I think that people want that. Like, we live in a world where people are seeking more connection. And I think adding that to everything with your content creation is so key.
Yeah, I love it. How do you know if your content is working? Because I think like one of the hard things is like because it's like if you're gonna get into the content game, like you've signed up for the long haul, right?
Yeah, so true.
How do you know if your content's working?
First of all, you need to at least give it 6 months before you can make that decision. And is that a financial investment? Yes, it is. Is it a time investment? Yes, it is. But we can't really gauge whether or not something's working unless we really have the time in it. And I would say, in my opinion, that's been my time frame for both Instagram and LinkedIn. You really start seeing things working at 8 months, 12-month mark. And then from then, it really can blow up. And I've got the stats and like all the back end stuff on my accounts I show my clients. But yeah, the content game is just like the podcasting game. Like it is the long game, but it's so worth it.
I love it. So, have your clients found you primarily through your organic content?
Yep. Yep. They've mainly found me on LinkedIn through my podcast and some on Instagram as well. I actually built originally and scaled my Instagram account organically off travel vlogging. So I did that first, and then I gave my Instagram account a little rest and went over to LinkedIn. And so I'm just getting back into the Meta and Instagram game now.
From a perspective of business or from travel vlogging?
From business. So my content's totally different than my travel vlogging, so my followers are confused.
That's awesome. But I mean, that's really what a personal brand is, right? Is it's like it's being nimble with who you are and how your interests change and how you're going. I think that's been one of my most challenging things with content is like sometimes I get scared to post because I'm like, I don't know, like this isn't necessarily like where I want to stick my flag in the sand and what I want to talk about forever, and so I just don't. Instead of just being like, well, this is what I'm interested in, so I'm gonna post about it because that's what I'm interested in.
I had an anniversary with my husband about a month ago, and I just put it out
Congratulations.
there. What was that?
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so I just said to my followers, like, I'm pausing my business marketing and personal branding content to document our anniversary. And so I had 5 days of beach back to my travel vlogging days. And people actually loved it because they were like, they felt like they were with me on the trip and they could like see where we were and what we were doing. And it just, I think, was helpful. Even though it's kind of random, they felt like they knew me more.
I love it. So good. So good. Well, Caroline, it's been seriously so fun having you on the podcast today and like watching and getting you an opportunity to like have you recount your evolution from being this, a recruiter from like starting from the very, very basic entry level positions all the way to like as high as you can go. And then shifting to like, I love that mindset of like basically like your content enables you to connect with anybody. And LinkedIn is a great, great platform to be able to connect with people, especially in the business biosphere. So thank you so much for sharing your journey as well as like some hot tips. Like this was a good episode, guys, in terms of like the actual like tactics of what is working and what you need to focus on. And so again, thank you so much for bringing it all onto the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love it. Okay, so for people that want to follow you, right, be part of that 13,000 group, or they want to find your podcast or your business because they are looking for help in this field, how do they find you?
My website is femininefounder.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to put the links to that, and so my guess is that your website probably links out to all your stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to put the links to that in the episode notes, and so you guys can link out directly to that. But Caroline, I just appreciate your spunky personality, and you're just real. You're a very real human, and I really value that. And so again, thank you so much for coming on the Marketing Matrix today. All right, guys, wherever you're listening, whether in your car, your kitchen, or Costco, we know that your time is valuable. And so for you to spend a few moments with us today means the absolute world. So thank you so much for visiting us on the Marketing Matrix. Until next time.